Oh man, so it's absolutely clear that Fantom has been on an absolute tear here recently, and one of the questions I've been getting most recently here is what are the ecosystem plays one could start to invest in the Fantom ecosystem. Now, if you've been following my content throughout the last bull market and then the following bear market, you have known that throughout the bear market, I was never one to say that I would be in ecosystem plays. If you look at the market throughout a bear market, ecosystem plays get absolutely wrecked. I mean, being in altcoins is bad enough. You're talking 98% down, let alone being in an ecosystem play. But now that we start to head to a bit more of a frothier market, a bit more of an exciting bull market, now is the time that I start looking for ecosystem plays. Now, why is it important to look for ecosystem plays? Well, if you look at the numbers, certain projects like bigger cap altcoins, when they're in, like, for example, Fantom sitting at 3 billion, still quite small. But if you want some of those crazy outside, high risk, high return plays, that is where you start to look at ecosystem plays, right? The smaller projects with smaller market caps sitting on top of the layer one solution. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to break down my top 5. I'll probably give you a couple more bonus ones as well. Fantom ecosystem plays and why I like them. Now, huge caveat. We have to understand the background of Fantom. What was the background of Fantom? What is the background of Fantom? The background of Fantom is that Fantom was a DeFi play. Yes, absolutely. Fantom was a project that ran into over $7.7 billion in DeFi total value locked. In other words, in the last cycle, for those of you who are new to Fantom, Fantom was known as the place to be for DeFi. What is DeFi? DeFi is your DEXs, DeFi is your yield aggregations, it's your yield farming, it's all of those. Think of, traditional finance banking, but the crypto version of all that. So if people are trading stocks, how are they trading crypto? If people are looking for interest on their stocks and their debt and their bonds and things like that, how are they doing the crypto version? That is all that DeFi is. And you guys, if you weren't around, there was a big DeFi summer where things really started to pop off, not just on Fantom, but on lots of layer one solutions, primarily led by Ethereum. But Fantom did really, really well, partly to do with Andre Cronje, him launching some really good projects as well. So Fantom has been there. It's been up at 6.7 billion. But of course, throughout the bear market, it's been, to say the least, pretty tough here for Fantom, right? I mean, total value locked really did start to bottom out and got to some really horrible lows of like $40 million. You can't see that behind my head. Let me just pop that up here. It was sitting at like $40 billion up here. Really, really bad. Now we're starting to see a bit of a recovery. We're starting to get some traction coming back in here as a lot of attention has been coming to Fantom recently, and you're sitting at 146 million. So now's a nice time to look at it and say, okay, who is the beneficiary of these flows? Which projects are people using on Fantom? I'm going to kick this off by starting with the most obvious one, which is single-handedly the biggest project on Fantom, and that is SpookySwap. Yep, it was in the life cycle. It continues to be one of the biggest now. It's sitting there at $41 million in total value locked. But you have to remember, these are still small projects. These are by no means big projects. Let's take a look at what SpookySwap does. Hold up. Do you want to learn how to trade? Then you need to jump into our Telegram community. Link is in the description. In our Telegram community, I share my altcoins. I share how I do my trade setups, how I do my stop losses and take profit, so you can learn to become a profitable trader. Check it out. Link is in the description. So as you can imagine, SpookySwap is a decentralized exchange, a DEX. You've heard of this before. No different to Uniswap on the Ethereum ecosystem, and it has the highest TVL of any Fantom project. Users can use the speed of Fantom, right? Because you're changing between tokens. This is one of the first places people would come when they're interacting with the Fantom ecosystem. You've got your MetaMask wallet set up, you've got yourself some Fantom tokens, you come on over here to spooky.fi and you start having a play around. And it's at this point when you start having a play around that you get this realization about what the Fantom ecosystem is about. The user experience, the speed, the low gas fees, the transactions per second, the throughput, the ease of use, the less slippage. And that is where you start seeing that people start becoming hooked on Fantom. When they do a transaction here and then they go back to Uniswap, they go, hang on a second, what was that? Because Uniswap, if we take a look, is sitting here. Let's just find this, $7.1 billion in market cap. $7.1 billion here for Uniswap. Let's take a look at what that is for SpookySwap. SpookySwap is sitting at $3.16 right now at the time I'm recording this video. It's sitting at a market cap of 31 million. 7 billion? 31 million. So you can see how small of a project it is. And this is why, and I do want to put a big caveat out here. Remember, if you imagine my portfolio, Fantom is a small sliver, I'm going to repeat, a small sliver of the layer 1 section of my portfolio. So in my portfolio, I've got a wedge, like a pizza slice, which is just layer 1 solution. That can include Ethereum, it will include Solana, it will include any Cardano I've got, and any others as well. There'll be Fantom. If you zoom into that piece that is Fantom, a small sliver again of that is the ecosystem plays that we're talking about today. So by no means would I ever be sitting here with a 90% portfolio of Spooky Swap or any of the tokens I'm going to mention here. Now, of course, doing that will create some degen millionaires, but you're never going to hear about all the ones that get wrecked. And there were plenty in the last cycle that did get wrecked, not following what I'm saying here, which is having a smart portfolio. Now, there is a way to have some of these risky plays in your portfolio, like I just said. By all means, have them. Do your research like you're doing here, watching this video. Do some more research into these projects, and if you like them, add them. But to go and put 80% of your portfolio in not just Fantom, but an ecosystem play underneath Fantom, you are asking to be wrecked. So please exercise some caution. So $31 million here, crazy risk to reward. I mean, I just showed you how Uniswap is a huge, much bigger than this. I mean, over 100, 200 times the size here. So incredible difference between Spooky Swap. And yet when you use it, and I implore you to all go use it, you'll start to see that things are actually better on the Fantom ecosystem. Now, the other thing to remember is that the Spooky Swap token, which is called Boo, also allows its holders to make the governance decisions. That's normal, but it's also some of the fees that are used when you pay a fee here to use the swap are then used to buy back Boo. So there is a finite supply of these tokens. The fees are then used to buy it back and for paying rewards, which could help the price of Boo tokens increase over time. So that's the first one, the biggest project on Fantom by TVL. Definitely go check out Spooky Swap. It's been around for a while. It's not a new project. It survived through the bear market as well, continue to do well. They got their swap, they got liquidity, they've got farms. And again, we know Fantom is known as the DeFi chain. So a lot of the plays I'm going to be talking about here are DeFi. Let's move on and let's take a look at the next project, which is PainSwap. Okay, PainSwap is a project that's sat here at $13 million. Okay, this is somewhere where it's in a marketplace. You can come here and you can buy, sell, discover, collect NFTs. And this is really interesting. So you've got some really big projects that have been around for a while now. We've covered them off before here on this channel, including the amazing Ancestral Humans. You've got Magic Cats as well, and definitely you can go ahead and take a look here, play around with the different projects, click into them, see what the price of them are. Really easy to use, really something you'd be used to with something like OpenSea on the Ethereum network. Really straightforward and easy to use. But another good use case is playing around with PainSwap. Again, a project that's been there, done it, right? It's sitting there with a market cap of $13 million. This is a tiny project. If you're looking for risk to reward, these are the type of projects. If you look at the total supply, 377 million tokens. The max is 450. So it's not like you've got loads of tokens sat on the sidelines that's going to be dumped. That's another thing I like to look at when investing in a project. So you've got something like PainSwap. And again, let's just remind you here, when we go to, kind of maxing this out, you really start to see that this is a project that at one point did run up to here 21 cents and is sitting at 3 cents right now. So you're looking at a baked in a big differential there, just looking at that return there. So PainSwap, definitely another one for you guys to have on your radar and look at. Next up, we're going to talk about Beefy, another project which did really well in the last cycle. Again, sticking to the DeFi theme, Beefy is the second largest project on Fantom, a yield aggregator, sitting at $27 million in total value locked here. But again, some of you are probably sitting there going, yeah, but why are people going to use this? Guys, right now, the market's not ready. But I need to remind those of you who weren't around in the last cycle, these types of projects popped off. People were using these yield aggregators all day long, printing money all day long using these yield aggregators, right? People were sitting here chasing APY, right? If you take a look here, you can jump here, you can, USDC, 14% APY. I mean, Ethereum, Frax, USDC. This stuff, the hype is not there now, but the hype will come to these places in terms of some of the LPs. Now, again, the ones which are interest bearing, I personally don't invest in them. I do look for ones which do allow for staking. Those are the ones which I would be interested in. But again, you've got to be very careful if you're leaving your money in yield aggregators. Very important that you're very careful when you're doing so. Beefy as a project is sitting here at $31.8 million. Again, all the supply is already unlocked. There's only 80,000 tokens to be minted, and they're already out there in supply. $399. And again, if we put it out onto the max chart, this was a project that ran up to a peak. Let's see if I can, let's just use this peak here instead. Sitting here at $2,500 per token, guys. 2,000, this is more than a 6x from where it is currently. So Beefy Finance, another strong DeFi play on the Fantom ecosystem. Next up, we need to talk about Equalizer. Again, another DeFi play, trading a liquidity hub for Fantom. If we jump back into DeFi Llama, you will see that this is number 4 on the list, $16.7 million in total value locked. And again, more DeFi, right? People use Equalizer as DeFi. And again, they've managed to build themselves a good brand, a good reputation for being a place where people can lock up their funds and chase APY. And again, I just want to remind you guys, I just want to put this out there nice and early. Right now, YouTubers are not talking about it, influencers are not talking about it, but this will become a big theme, just like it was in the previous cycle. People will be looking for yield and aggregating yield, and that's where these projects will start to come into their own, right? When people are looking for that. So again, you got your trading, you can trade here just like you would expect from a normal trade, cross-chain swaps as well, but also you got your liquidity stuff as well through here. And guys, I'm very clear that here I've mentioned a lot of DeFi plays, and that is because the only projects with really good traction on Fantom as of now are the DeFi plays, right? This is something I've brought up with Michael Kong, I've brought up with, you know, the Simone Pomposi, who was the CMO at the time, on an interview here on this channel, that when is Fantom going to really start to pick up some of the other stuff, the metaverse stuff, the gaming, the NFTs? But we have seen progress there. Now, by no means have they made the same progress to the DeFi plays. The reason I'm sharing the DeFi plays as the top projects is those are the ones where the total value is locked. Those are the ones that have a history of performing in the last cycle. So when you look at risk to reward, naturally I'm going to be swaying towards those sort of projects if I'm looking to invest in some of these ecosystem plays. That being said, it's worth mentioning that there are other exciting projects. Just like I showed you the NFTs, like as Ancestral Humans, you got Magic Cats. There are also metaverse plays, things like 8-Bit World, right? Building their own little metaverse play on Fantom. Great stuff. You can also jump onto the spotlight here on Fantom, where they regularly post different projects that are built. For example, take a look at this one, Morphex, right? Morphex are building a perpetual decentralized trading platform. So you can imagine all your kind of your futures, your perpetuals, you can trade all of that on Fantom as well and benefit from the speed and the transactions and the throughput and the low fees of Fantom. And again, you can just go see. Let's take a look at this one, LaborX. This is a great idea as well. LaborX is a blockchain-based jobs platform, right? So there are things being built on Fantom. So this kind of, you know, this worry that things aren't being built on Fantom, they are being built. It just needs this bull market for people to find projects, to give it a chance, to give it transaction, and then of course, for those projects to not disappoint the users of those projects, right? That's the next phase of Fantom. So just like we saw Andre Cronje tweet, Andre Cronje is working on some more exciting projects as well, right? He's even said he's got the code written out. He just needs to find a team to run it because he knows he doesn't have the capacity or the want to run these projects, to deal with all the toxic stuff in crypto. He just wants a team to run some of the amazing code he's already written. So again, if you want to watch that video where I break down what Andre Cronje is up to, make sure you go watch that. But one thing is for sure, this Fantom season is just heating up, and now is a great time to start understanding, researching, and finding which ecosystem projects you like. If you like this video, if you want us to do a deeper dive into any one of these projects we've mentioned, like a real deep dive into the tokenomics, a real deep dive into the use case, and actually use it and show you how to use it, then let me know in the comments. If there's enough for interest, why not? Let's do a deep dive into some of these projects. Let's get the founders of these projects on this channel. You tell me, guys, what you want in the comments, or tell me on Twitter as well, and we can make it happen. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.